Listen closely. I am the Keeper of Tales. Welcome to Arabia Tales, where magic awakens and every story comes alive.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful kingdom far away, where in winter, everywhere was covered with a white sheet of snow. In the palace of this kingdom, the queen was sitting alone doing sewing and embroidery. The queen was quietly making beautiful designs on cloth when suddenly the needle pricked her finger. Ah! A few drops of blood came out of the queen's finger and fell on the white snow near the window. On white snow, the red drops of blood looked very beautiful. A wish arose in the queen's heart. I wish I had a daughter whose complexion is as white as snow, whose lips are as red as blood, and whose hair is as black as the darkness of night. After some time, a very beautiful baby girl was born to the queen. Her complexion was like snow, her lips were like blood, and her hair was like the darkness of night. A wave of happiness spread throughout the palace. The king happily announced that the princess would be named Snow White. Shortly after Snow White's birth, the queen suddenly became very seriously ill. The great doctors of the kingdom were called. Every treatment was done, but the queen's condition kept getting worse day by day. And within a few days, the queen passed away. The whole palace went into mourning. The king was broken, and little Snow White was forever deprived of her mother's love. After some time, the king remarried. The new queen was a very beautiful woman. People would get amazed seeing her beauty. She always wore expensive clothes, decorated herself with diamonds and jewels, and loved hearing praise about her beauty all the time. She could not tolerate anyone being more beautiful than her. She was extremely proud, jealous, and cruel. The palace maids were also afraid of her because even a small mistake would bring severe punishment. She had a magical mirror. Every day the queen would stand in front of it and smilingly ask, "Magic mirror, tell me, who is the most beautiful in this world?" "My queen, you are the most beautiful." Hearing this, the queen would become happy because she had extreme pride in her beauty. Time passed, and little Snow White slowly grew into a very beautiful girl. Her innocent smile, shining eyes, and soft heart attracted everyone towards her. She was only 7 years old, but her beauty was so unique that people secretly started praising her. One day, as usual, the queen went to her room and stood in front of the mirror. Smiling, she asked, "Magic mirror, tell me, who is the most beautiful in this world?" "My queen, you are beautiful indeed, but Snow White is far more beautiful than you." Hearing this, the queen's face turned red with anger. "What did you say? A mere child more beautiful than me? This can never be." A fire of jealousy ignited in her heart, which made her even more cruel. She immediately called her loyal soldier and ordered, "Take Snow White into the forest and kill her. I want proof of her death. Bring her heart, so I can be sure she is no longer alive." The soldier took Snow White into the forest. Snow White stood in front of him, tears flowing from her eyes, and she kept saying, "Don't kill me, please let me go. I promise I will never come back." The soldier's heart melted. He knew this innocent girl did not deserve any cruelty. His hand trembled, and he lowered his sword. "Go, run away from here, and never come back." Snow White stayed silent for a moment, then immediately ran away. Tears were flowing from her eyes. The soldier stood alone, but he knew he could not lie to the queen. He looked around and killed a wild animal to use it as proof. He took out its heart, wrapped it in cloth, and returned to the palace. The queen took that heart, cooked it, and ate it. A strange smile appeared on her face, as if she believed Snow White was gone forever. On the other hand, Snow White kept running in the forest. Her steps were shaking, her eyes filled with tears, and her heart was full of fear. She did not understand where to go, which direction to run, or who could help her. The tall trees, dark shadows, and wild sounds made her even more scared. She kept looking back, but there was only silence everywhere. Her small heart was trembling with fear as she tried to find her way in this dangerous world. Finally, deep in the forest, Snow White saw a small, beautiful house. The house looked simple from outside, but very clean. In fear and exhaustion, Snow White slowly went inside. "Is anyone there?" she said softly. But no one was there. Everything inside was small and neatly arranged. On the table, there were 7 small plates with delicious food. Snow White was very hungry. She hesitated for a moment, but hunger overcame her. She sat and started eating. The food was so delicious that she ate until she was full. When she felt a little calm, she started exploring the house. In a small room, she saw 7 small beds arranged neatly. Snow White was very tired. All the fear and running had drained her completely. She thought, "I will just rest for a while," and lay down on one of the beds. Soon, she fell into a deep sleep. In the evening, when darkness spread through the forest, 7 dwarfs returned to their home. They were small in size, but very hardworking and cheerful. As soon as they entered, they realized something was wrong. Their food was gone. "Who ate this?" one dwarf said in surprise. They went toward the room and were shocked to see a beautiful girl sleeping on one of their beds. She looked so beautiful and innocent that for a moment they stayed silent. They understood she was not dangerous, but very helpless. They decided not to wake her and waited outside for her to wake up. In the morning, when the first rays of sunlight touched the trees, Snow White woke up. The 7 dwarfs came to her. They asked, "Who are you and how did you come here?" Snow White told them her whole story, crying, about her mother, the queen, and running away. The dwarfs' hearts softened. One of them said, "You have survived great danger. We cannot leave you alone. If you clean our house, cook food, and live honestly with us, you can stay here safely." "I will do everything. Thank you for giving me shelter," Snow White replied. From that day, Snow White made that small house her home. She cleaned, cooked, and slowly started living happily with the dwarfs. Before leaving every morning, the dwarfs warned her, "We go to work in the forest all day. You will stay alone. Do not let any stranger inside." Snow White promised she would be careful. Meanwhile, in the palace, the queen stood before her magic mirror and asked proudly, "Magic mirror, tell me, who is the most beautiful in this world?" "My queen, you are beautiful, but Snow White, who lives with the dwarfs in the mountains, is far more beautiful than you." Hearing this, the queen's face twisted with rage. "Snow White is still alive and hiding. Now I will kill her myself." She took a poisonous apple, disguised herself as an old woman, and went into the forest. No one could recognize her. She reached Snow White's house and knocked on the door. Snow White opened it and saw an old woman. "Dear child, eat this sweet apple. It is very delicious," the old woman said with a smile. Snow White, innocent and unaware of danger, took a bite. Immediately, she fell to the ground unconscious. When the dwarfs returned, they tried everything, but she did not wake up. The whole house was filled with sorrow. The dwarfs cried, but nothing worked. They placed her in a glass coffin, so she would remain safe forever. Time passed. One day, a handsome prince was passing through the forest. He reached that strange house and saw Snow White in the glass coffin. He was amazed by her beauty and heard her story from the dwarfs. The prince had a magical medicine that could be used between life and death. He placed it on Snow White's lips. After a moment of silence, Snow White's eyes slowly moved. She opened her eyes. The whole place filled with joy. The dwarfs jumped in happiness. The prince smiled. It felt like Snow White had received a new life. The prince said, "I will always protect you." The prince took Snow White to his kingdom and married her. After marriage, Snow White returned to her kingdom and became the ruler. She ruled with justice and punished her evil stepmother, who was imprisoned for her cruelty. And thus, Snow White's story ended with happiness, justice, and love.
The tale ends here. Thank you for walking through the shadows of Eurabia Tales. Until we meet again, stay enchanted.